How's it going, peeps? I'm here with a prediction game video, an unexpected prediction game video for tomorrow's WWE Network special live from Madison Square Garden. I don't usually do these for the live specials on the WWE Network, but I really enjoyed the last one in Tokyo, so I thought I'd do one for this as well, because I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy this one too. I hope so. I mean, the card for the last one looked better, but who knows? You know, sometimes the card might not look that great, but the matches really deliver, so it might be the case here. And there's some pretty important matches on this card. We've got the New Day versus the Dudley Boyz for the tag team titles. So we might see a title change there. I mean, I'm hoping the New Day retains, but who knows? The Dudleys might win. I think at some point the Dudleys will win those tag team titles from the New Day, but I just want the New Day to hold on to them as long as possible. But it might just happen tomorrow that, you know, Dudleys win the titles. And also, we've got a steel cage match between Cena and Seth Rollins. Cena and Seth Rollins put on some pretty great matches, but this is their third match or something like that in a very short time, or fourth match. But anyways, this is going to work just like any other prediction game videos that I've done in the past. You guys leave me your predictions for every single match on the card, which I'll list in the description box. You guys can easily give me your picks, and whoever gets every single match right gets a shout out in a future video. So let's get this started. There's no kickoff, there's no pre-show for this. It's a 2.5-hour show, so let's get started with, you know, the actual matches on the main show. So, well, there's only the main show, there's no pre-show. So, Randy versus Sheamus. This is one of those rematches, because there's a bunch of rematches on this card. This is one of those rematches that I don't want to see. I thought it was over. I think all of us thought Randy and Sheamus was over, at least for a while. Randy's currently involved with the Wyatt family, so I don't know what's up with this. But then again, this is a network special, and it's kind of like a televised house show. And sometimes on house shows, even though feud is over, you might see the superstars compete once again, you know, on that house show. So for this one, just because it is kind of like a house show and it's also in Madison Square Garden, I'm gonna go ahead and say Randy wins because he's the face. And also, if you look at the feud, Sheamus was the last one to get a pinfall or pinfall victory over Randy in the feud, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that they close it out. They finish this feud once and for all with the face Randy winning. And then moving on to another rematch that I'd rather not see, at least not in this situation, not in this storyline, because I don't like this storyline. Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev once again. Now, the last time we saw them compete one-on-one, Dolph got the win on a pay-per-view, Night of Champions. And I've been saying this since Rusev started losing a bunch. He's losing a lot. I mean, since losing it to John Cena, all of a sudden he loses, like, I don't know, 80% of his ability and starts losing all these matches. He's lost to Cena, Cesaro, Roman Reigns. I'm also counting, you know, when he gets pinned in the tag team match. So Cena, Cesaro, Roman Reigns, Randy, Dolph Ziggler, and I don't know, maybe somebody else. Bottom line, he's gotten pinned a bunch of times since losing to Cena, and I'm a fan of Rusev, so as a fan of Rusev, I don't want to see him lose all these matches, but also this is not about who I want to see win. This is a prediction, so I'm going with Rusev. I want to see Rusev win, and I actually think Rusev is going to win this. Because despite him losing all those matches, I still think they want to keep Rusev looking strong, and they're not trying to, you know, bury him or really, like, squash him and just, you know, turn him into, like, a low card or something like that. So, gonna go ahead and say that Rusev actually wins this. And then you've got Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this is a really unexpected match, and it doesn't make that much sense, which shows that it's more of a house show than anything, especially because it lacks continuity. So, you know, you've got Randy versus Sheamus. We thought that was over. And now you've got Jericho versus Owens, when Jericho seemed like he was turning heel at Night of Champions after what he did in the match. He tagged himself in, and because of him, they lost the match. And then after the match, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm sorry," whatever, he goes ahead and bumps into his teammate and doesn't say anything. So you've got, like, if this was a normal pay-per-view and Jericho was in action right now, he probably would be in action with the Shield or something like that, or he'd be a heel in this match instead. Now, some might say, well, who knows, Jericho might play the heel in the match versus Owens. I highly doubt that, since Owens is already a heel and he's in a feud versus a face in Ryback. So, like I said, this kind of shows that this is, more of a house show or televised house show than like a pay-per-view event. Because usually on house shows, oftentimes you get superstars, turning face, turning heel just to test it out. Or you get matches where it's like, this match doesn't really make sense. Or like, isn't this guy a face? Why is he a heel here? They try things out, and sometimes you get random matches on house shows, and, this is the case here. But I'm looking forward to this random match. I'm looking forward to Kevin Owens versus Jericho. And I'm happy they matched him up with Jericho. I really want to see this match. I liked Jericho versus Neville on the Tokyo Special. That was the opening match, so this might be the opening match too. But I have a feeling that we might see the Dudley Boyz versus the New Day as the opening match. Especially if the Dudley Boyz go ahead and win the tag team titles at the event. But as far as Owens versus Jericho goes, Jericho is already multiple-time IC champion. He's been IC champion more times than anybody else. And I don't think he's going to go ahead and add another IC championship reign to his, repertoire, to his accomplishments here at the Madison Square Garden special. Instead, I see this as putting Owens with Jericho so that Jericho goes ahead and puts over Owens. And Owens gets a win over, a veteran. And besides, Kevin Owens is currently in a storyline with Ryback. He took the championship from Ryback, so Ryback is entitled to a rematch clause. And the feud just started, so I highly, highly doubt that Jericho would just go ahead and randomly win the IC title from Owens. It just doesn't happen, and it's not gonna happen. So Kevin Owens is gonna win this one. And then we've got the tag team title match, the Dudley Boyz versus the New Day. Now, I said this before, I think the New Day, or actually I think the Dudley Boyz are going to take the tag team titles from the New Day at some point during this feud. The question is, when? I did not expect them to have a tag team championship rematch at this event. I thought there was going to be one at Hell in a Cell, and there still might be one at Hell in a Cell, actually. It's probably going to take place at Hell in a Cell as well, but as far as this one goes, at MSG, it's a tough one. I'm not sure who gets the win here. They've shown before, if you look at the last live events, or last live special, titles can't change hands when they're televised, when they're on the WWE Network, so it can't happen here. This isn't your typical house show, and it's a big event because it's at MSG, so maybe the Dudley Boyz win the tag team titles, or maybe the New Day. It's a tough one, man. I'm not sure who wins this, actually. You know what? I'm going to go with the Dudley Boyz, just because I think this might be the sole title change at the event, and just to show the people that, hey, title changes can change on these network exclusive, events, so go ahead and subscribe to the network. I think we might just see the Dudley Boyz win the tag team titles here from the New Day, and even if they don't, I wouldn't be surprised if we get like a count-out win. They won via disqualification at Night of Champions, so maybe they get a count-out win here at the MSG events, or they win the tag team titles. So I'm actually going to go with the Dudley Boyz winning this match. And then you've got John Cena versus Seth Rollins for the United States Championship inside a steel cage. And for this one, I'm going to go with John Cena. I don't think Seth Rollins is going to win back that championship, because if he does win back that championship, then John is entitled to a rematch clause, and then we get Cena versus Seth once again at like Hell in a Cell or Raw or something like that. Right now, the focus when it comes to Seth Rollins is Kane. They're focused on the Kane versus Seth Rollins feud. I think this is their way of ending the Cena and Seth Rollins feud once and for all inside a steel cage. And for it to end, John Cena's got to win, so gonna go with Cena winning the match. And then for the main event, The Big Show versus Brock Lesnar, the start of Brock Lesnar's Go to Hell tour. I'm gonna say Brock Lesnar gets the win. No shit, right? It's the most obvious match on the card. Brock Lesnar's going into a match, a Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker, and he's yet to be pinned even though Taker made him pass out, so he's not gonna go ahead and lose this match, you know, going into his match against Taker. There's no way. So, that's it for my predictions. Now it's time for you guys to give me your predictions in the comments section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, you can click that like button. And with that said, I'm out. See ya.